Your thoughts?
What? What? Who?
Nice.
Sorry for the delay there, folks. CJ Nasello on this 27th day of May. Yes, I'm back. Didn't go to jail. I survived Las Vegas. 9:06 the time, and we got a great show for you on this very symbolic day. We're going to be talking to Steve and Greg from the Easton Improvement Association just in mere moments here. We had that conversation last week. It was meant for today's show, but want to make sure that we play that again today with it being so pertinent. You know, Alton has one of the longest Memorial Day parades in the country, and both of them will join us in studio to fill us in on the occasion and all the work that goes into this parade. Then throughout the show, last year we did Salute to Service with Alton VFW Post 1308, and we'll do it again today. We have a couple of conversations that I pulled from our archives that I thought were really, really good conversations, and we'll play those throughout the show. We'll replay the conversation with Annie Montgomery, who's one of my favorites, Your Forgotten Son's out in just about 6 days. She'll be filling us in on the book, how it came about, what's it about, and how we can get our hands on a copy. And then following that conversation, we end our Monday, as always, on the first and last Monday of the month with Mary Cordes and Hainer Library. But while I have you, before we talk to Steve Schwartz and Greg here in just a couple of seconds, let me fill you in on Centerstone. Are you looking up for a fresh start on the road to recovery? A life free from addiction's possible, and it starts at Centerstone. Centerstone is that national leader in mental health and substance use disorder treatment for people of all ages, with a commitment to delivering care that truly changes people's lives. Centerstone's dedicated clinicians use evidence-based practices in their treatment program. So this means the recovery care plan is developed for you based on the latest science. There's so many unknowns on the road to recovery, but one thing you can know for sure is that Centerstone will be that constant guiding force for you on your recovery journey. Addiction, it can happen to anybody, but so can recovery. So start working towards your recovery today by visiting Centerstone online at recoverwithus.org. That's recoverwithus.org, or by calling 1-877-HOPE-123. It's 65 degrees. The time's 9:08, but here's our conversation and the rest of this show for a Monday. We'll start it off with Steve Gregg, the Easton Improvement Association, for the Alton Memorial Day Parade. Now I can hear myself. Welcome back to our daily show. Steve and Greg are with us in the studios. We're talking all about the Alton Memorial Day Parade. And, this is something that's really cool. Each and every year to see families and generation of Altonians and Riverbend residents coming together up there on College and really just paying tribute to those who made that ultimate sacrifice. And, guys, how are we looking for Monday?
Looking good. Hopefully the weather's going to be good.
Yeah, no, we have been in a really weird pattern lately. I don't know what we did to Mother Nature, but she is not happy right now.
That and dodging the cicadas, you bet.
I call it the plague. The plague's hit Alton,
Just about.
So going into this is the oldest and most continuous Memorial Day parade in the country.
This is the 157th Memorial Day parade in Alton, so it is one of the oldest consecutive.
One of the oldest.
Right.
It's just amazing, though, to realize that all across the board, Alton's history is just really rich and vast, Yeah.
Since 1868, this parade's been going on, and there are some other cities in the United States that go back to 1868. Mm-hmm. I believe one is in New York, Pennsylvania, one in Kansas, and the like. But I think we're considered the most consecutive 157 years.
That's incredible. It really is. And now at 100 and 50 plus years. Are we pretty smooth sailing at this point when it comes to organizing and getting everything ready to go?
We sure are, I think. Yeah, we're really going from a mail system to email communications, and that's working out pretty well. We've got good participation from many of the same and new participants, members, or people who want to be in the parade. So it's working out very well.
And we've had the Optimist Club of Alton. They have staged for years, and they do a great job doing that.
Well, and that's another point of it too, Steve, is all the different organizations that kind of come out and either being a part of the parade or trying their best to support it in some fashion. And it's really cool to see how everyone comes together on that day.
Yeah, just participating supports it. I mean, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. We've got
Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club organizations.
High schools, fire departments.
So.
And I could even be out there. I won't be. I was just lined up with it. But you know, as this gets going, just so we're all aware of the route and just any, you know, closures, just in case we're trying to go up and find that spot. Where's the parade route going to be on Monday?
We stage the pit, the Alton Middle School pit. It starts at 8:30. Well, 8 o'clock to 10. Usually about 8:30 is really a good time to go after. Participants should be on site and in place around 9:30, hopefully. So from the pit, we go up College to Washington. We take a right on Washington and go down to Brown. Brown over to, take a left over to Maine, back up to College, back over to Washington, take a right on Washington up to Locust, which is the street just on the other side of Killian Park, and then back through Moore, and we into the parade is out toward the cemetery.
You've done this a time or two, Steve. That was pretty incredible. That was pretty incredible.
I wanted to make sure I got it right.
Well, you got it right, already.
Well, and you know, it's really cool just to see, you know, how everything comes together too. You know, throughout the whole route, there's never really a lull spot in the parade route. You know, everyone really comes out and supports. And you know, with that being said too, how do participants sign up? Is there a deadline for this each and every year? For parades and just being a part of it for floats and all of that? We
send out applications each year to past participants, and we've got an email out there as well that people can get, or potential participants can reach out to us.
Cool.
Deadline usually is this week. So we've got our lineup established right now. We've got 50 plus positions within the parade.
Nice.
That means there's going to be more than 50 actual vehicles in the parade. We've got a lot of Jeeps this year as well. But I would say this week is the end. If they wanted to reach out, or if anybody wanted to still connect to us, it's East End Improvement Association.parades@gmail.com.
Well, and too, another thing is with the parade marshal, do we know who our parade marshal is going to be?
We actually have 4 parade marshals.
Really? This is cool.
We go back, and for the last couple of years, we've tried to get the older generation, the World War IIs. We're leaning more toward the Korean War this year. So we've got actually 4 of them this year. We've got Alice Thompson, Harry Korkamp, Harry Mack, and excuse me, while we've got it, Bernie Caldwell is the 4th. And all of those gentlemen and ladies, Alice was basically during the Korean War. Alice was a little bit later, I think from 55 to 59, but all of them were in that era.
Really cool.
And that's cool.
That is cool. Now, are their families going to be there with them and all that good stuff?
We're hoping so.
Really, really awesome. You guys got a moment to take a quick pause with me? I got to pay a bill.
Sure.
We'll come back with more of our daily show right after this quick one. Get over here on RiverBender.com.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was going to make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Too many highs and too many lows. Too many storms and tornadoes. I need some blue skies.
Welcome on back to Our Daily Shows. We're talking to Steve and Greg, and we are learning more about the Alton Memorial Day Parade. And, you know, you guys made a great point because you said it earlier about being, continuous and having that continuity. But I forgot about COVID being just 4 years ago. How did y'all manage that?
Delicately.
Good answer.
We talked a lot about, do we cancel, do we not cancel? When working with the police department, working with the city, we decided to go ahead, but we wanted to keep it quiet because we didn't want to attract a large crowd because COVID was going around.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So we had it set up where there would be 5 participants. It would be East End, the mayor, the police department, the fire department, and the VFW. Mm-hmm. And we'd go down, we'd use the same route. In order to keep it continuous, we had to use exactly the same route as we always have. So we used that. And we got to the middle school parking lot, the pit, in order to get ready to go. And there were like 40 or 50 cars, and people were still coming in.
It happened organically.
And
Wow.
it happened yeah.
That's that's like hair raising almost, honestly.
And they were ready to go down, and we actually had to stop people from coming in. And there were so many individuals that had been in it year after year after year that they decided to come, and they were going to have their own parade anyway. Mm-hmm. So instead of 5 cars, it was around 40 to 50 cars.
That's incredible.
And we even had some participants out, some individuals watching the parade going down the street that were there.
That's really cool, Steve, because, it's amazing, too, because, we always talk about, the 3-day weekend, but the real reason we have Memorial Day is because of that ultimate sacrifice. And Alton's military history is very rich. And, you go all the way down from, a James Killian and just go down the list of just folks that really had made a mark in the military and really made us proud here at home, and especially in our community, too.
Western military.
Yeah,
Paul
100%.
Tibbets.
Yeah. It's just really, it's one of those things that you don't take for granted, but you don't realize the magnitude of how much military, and the presence that we kind of had from it in our area. And, Greg, as we go forward here, when did you start becoming a part of Easton Improvement and taking over some of the parade duties?
Easton Improvement, it's been a couple decades, actually, for that. So it's the group's been around for quite some time as well. But Steve's been the main guy for all the parades. Steve does a heck of a lot. Mm-hmm. So Steve, he wants to pass the what are we going to call it? Pass the
baton, torch,
exactly.
Whatever it is.
So, I'm eager to learn and get involved. So really, it's been the last couple of years. Been working closely with Steve, understanding the processes, and trying to make this work as well as Steve has for so many years.
Steve,
and I'll go back. Greg's doing a great job, and we have a great committee to work with on both parades, the Memorial Day Parade and the Halloween Parade. So it makes life a little bit easy.
It definitely does. And again, Optimus helps so much with the Memorial Day Parade and the staging area, so we're great. Thanks to them for all their assistance.
100%. And Steve, you cracked the code. You found the next generation to take over. You better give your secret out to every organization around here.
I can do that.
There you go. Well, it's really cool. And, as we, go forward, what are some of the different stops along the route going to look like? I know VFW has one. Is there any, presenting of colors or any type of...
Talk about the beginning.
We're gonna do something that we haven't done, and it's going to be great. We're going to have, we'd like to have everybody in place by 9:30, 9:45 the minimum, because we're going to sing the national anthem to begin the parade. Cool. And the parade starts at 10 o'clock, so a little bit before 10, we're going to have the national anthem. And then we're going to have, I'm gonna call it a 21 gun salute, but it's more of fireworks going off, 21 firework bombs, so I could say, I guess.
Mortars, we call
Mortars, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so that's going to be first that we've ever done this, and it's going to be neat. And we're really excited about that.
That's really cool. That's actually really, really cool. And now if your windows shake or crack, just send Steve the bill.
Definitely Steve.
Well, one 4th of July, my neighbor had a black powder cannon that he built, and every picture on in our house just blew off the wall. I've never seen something like that in my life.
Well, it's going to be in Rock Springs Park.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be in good shape.
Well, the cicadas will have fun.
The cicadas will have a lot of fun.
And going forward, how early do you guys have to get there to clear out the route? How's the city kind of collaborate with you guys on that?
The city does a great job. The street department.
Yeah.
They block off the streets, and they're familiar just exactly what the route is year after year after year. And they absolutely do a great job. And also, not only preparing for the parade, but cleaning up after the parade.
That's the hard part.
You can go down one of the streets down Washington, and there's a lot of candy that's thrown. And it's pretty clean soon after the parade ends.
100%. And now, Steve, Greg, anything left for families to kind of know about? Any kind of just alerts or things to pay attention to if you have, little ones by the parade? Any of those general FAQ questions?
Typically, there's a lot of candy that's thrown out. Please keep your children, your kids. Don't let them run out in the street. That's one of the big things on both parades. And there was an instance a long time ago in St. Louis, and we just don't want that to happen here. So please keep your children close by on the curbs. We've instructed all the individuals, if they're going to throw candy, either to hand it out or throw it down on the ground toward the curb. So
safety for sure.
Safety is the utmost important.
Safety is the utmost importance.
And maybe if someone's hosting the show, they probably don't throw anything at his head. That'd be fun. Dude, that last year was hilarious. Did you see that little kid I had at the Halloween parade? He kept pelting me right in the side of the head with a Tootsie Roll. It was like I thought, what did Walter Cronkite do in this situation? And I realized, no, he probably wasn't there.
Well, we've instructed participants not to do Tootsie Roll Pops.
That's a good thing because of those sticks on them.
Because of the sticks on them. And so we discourage that very much.
I just think it's so cool that we have a lot of really unique things that are really special to Alton, especially the Halloween parade and this, and for East End, and you guys to be a part of both of those. It's got to be a really good feeling too.
Absolutely, yeah. And East End's been around for a long time. So
how long has it? Because East End started. Was that in the old building that just burned down here on the?
It was. Yeah. It was. It's the old Turverines. It's incorporated in 1869.
Wow.
So through the years, it was the Turverines. After World War I, it was a German fraternal organization, and after World War I, it was changed to East End. Improvement Association.
So. Really cool. And going forward, as we're gearing up for summer, Right after summer is Halloween.
And it comes back quick.
It's hard to believe that it's Memorial Day again.
I can't believe how fast this year has gone by. And I always say that like it's small talk, but this time I really mean it. I just kind of opened my eyes and I blacked out in January and woke up in December, you know. And anything for the Halloween parade that we need to worry about yet, or we'll cross that bridge when we get to it in August?
I think in August the committee will form, and we will be sending out participation forms, applications basically. So we'll be again sending it out to past participants. But if we have additional participants or anybody who wants to come to the parade, they can reach out again to eastendimprovement.parades@gmail.com.
And if any younger people want to keep joining East End and keep growing those numbers, that's how you do it that way too. And then I'm getting pretty good at this, Steve. I knew August, right? My mental calendar, you know.
You got it.
We'll take a quick break, but our daily show will come back right around the corner here on RiverBender.com, Roku TV.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center.
Hey Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team. We've got Joey.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ. RiverBender.com. Man, it feels like Miami down here. Welcome to this Thursday morning, and we have some humidity in Illinois for the first time in a while. It feels like Florida.
Well, we don't have any because I live in the desert in Arizona, so we don't even understand what humidity means.
No,
so.
I've always wondered that, Ann. Is a dry heat still a heat? Because I've never
Oh, hell yes. I mean, last summer, we had, 53 or 56 days over 110.
That's right.
And 115 was more normal. We treat it like you treat winter. We don't go out. We don't go out in it. You know, the people that are out in the summer here are tourists because we just run to our cars. And when you put your seatbelt on, you get like second-degree burns.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it's really, now we get used to it. We do. But it's like, I know in Illinois, I'm guessing you have darkness and cold and gray. And yeah, so you get used to it. So,
and that's just summer. No, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Well, this is really cool. Last year, Ann, you were on, and we had a really great conversation. And now this time around, we're talking Your Forgotten Sons. This is a really, really cool book. And just the story on how this came together. Take it away, Senator. The floor is yours. How did this come about?
Yeah, all of my books so far to date have been about Arizona, places in Arizona, locations and different stories. But this was very different. A dear friend who I've known for 40 years, I met her when I worked for my first TV station in Columbus, Georgia. She called me and she said, I need you to come to Johns Hopkins Hospital because I have to have surgery and I might be paralyzed from the waist down. Now, why did she call me? Her husband is a soldier who did 3 tours, Afghanistan, Iraq, and he cannot be in hospitals. There was a very bad situation where his men were dying in a hospital in Iraq, I think. And so he couldn't handle it. So she said, come be my healthcare power of attorney. I said, of course. So I flew to Baltimore, and the night before the surgery, she hands me this Ziploc bag of old letters. And she said, no matter what happens to me, I want you to promise that you will tell Bud's story. And because I wanted to make her feel better, I went, okay, of course, right. I'll do anything, right? And the bottom line is she had a tumor wrapped around her spine, and they removed it, and she walked out of the hospital, but I had made a promise.
Yep.
So Sergeant Bud Richardville was her uncle. Her mother was one of those people who had babies like 20 years apart.
Oh, okay.
He's actually her direct uncle, even though she's in her 60s, so her mother was pretty old when she had her. And so she grew up with these pictures of this soldier on the wall at home that never came home from World War II. And turns out he worked, when they inducted him, they put him in the Graves Registration Service. Do you know what that is?
I do not, actually.
It's part of the quartermasters, and the quartermasters are, of course, people that supply everything. Without them, there's no war. Mm-hmm. But the Graves Registration Service are the guys that locate, identify, and bury the dead.
Oh, wow.
Now, think about that job.
Yeah.
Think about it. Now, I was unable to get any of Bud's military records because in 1973, the military personnel records depository in St. Louis burned to the ground. 80% of all their records from, I think, 1912 to 1960 were destroyed. Mm-hmm. Bud's among them. So I had no physical records. So I'm like, how am I supposed to find out what happened to this man and where he was when I have no military records? Well, I started going by the dates on postmarks on the letters that she gave me. Some of these letters were to his mother. Some were to his wife, brand new wife. He just met a week before he left. Some were to his sister. And I had to follow where he was. By following those postmarks, I sensed he'd been in Normandy when he landed in Normandy. He was at the Battle of the Bulge. He was with Patton's Third Army in Czechoslovakia when they were trying to take that country back from the Nazis. So I followed those. I wasn't sure until after the book went to press. I got a copy of his obituary that ran in a newspaper in Vincennes, Indiana, which is where he was from. And it proved that I was right.
Wow.
That he had been in all these places. And so his job, along with the men he served with, he hit the beaches at Normandy. Well, guess what? There are thousands of dead.
Yep.
And not just bodies, but pieces of bodies. And I will tell you now that this book is necessarily gruesome. It really is horrible. If you've ever seen the first 24 minutes of Saving Private Ryan, not Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, Saving Private Ryan.
Yep.
Where they hit the beach. It's like that. But now the camera pans away and their bodies are everywhere. Now they've got to be collected. They've got to be identified. We've got to do something with them. Not only because of the disease factor, but because you've got more men coming through there, and it's the morale factor. It's the idea that what do you do when you got 18-year-old soldiers who are hitting the beaches going, crap, there are thousands of dead people here. So the Graves registration guys had to immediately go in, and they dug temporary graves near the beach, and then they had to move them later and build cemeteries. And today there are, in 36 different countries, there are American cemeteries that were built by the Graves Registration Service. So that was Bud's job.
I couldn't.
And
I just couldn't, because we had the chance, I did, to go to Normandy or go into France and see all the flags there that are lined up in that memorial, and are not flags, the poppy flowers that are all down. It's so beautiful in France. But I couldn't imagine that, Ann. I mean, you're going and removing a fallen soldier that, like you said, it could be bits of somebody that's just,
a foot. And if you were at Normandy, Bud helped to build that cemetery, and the one in Luxembourg, and the one in Epinal. I mean, all of them were built by this Graves Registration Service. So you take he was a happy-go-lucky guy. He was a little bit of a womanizer. The women loved him. He was handsome and charming, and he had very little education. But he went to work in he was a logger. So he went to work in the paper mills in Michigan, which were an essential military business. So he didn't get drafted till he was 29. So because he that the military needed paper.
Makes sense. It makes total sense when you say that. Yep, because you can't.
My dad worked for Westinghouse. He didn't get drafted till a little later either because he was working. It was an industry that was needed by the military. So by the time Bud was drafted, he was 29 years old, which made him like a different generation from the 17 and 18-year-olds that were in his unit. So you got these young boys, and they get thrown on the beaches, and they say, pick up all the parts, find the pieces, and identify them. Now, how do you do? Some of them, maybe they had a tattoo or a religious medal or a label in their clothing, but this is what these guys did every day.
Well, and did it, Ann, while there's fighting going on. I mean,
they were right behind the troops. And when one of Bud's letters, these guys were embarrassed to admit what they were doing. Many of them wanted out and they couldn't get out. And they said, look, someone has to do this job. And the military said, this is your job, go do it. And it was very difficult. They didn't tell their family members. Bud didn't tell his family members what he was doing, except for his brother-in-law, who was Regina's father.
Okay.
So he said, yes, I'm in the Graves unit. And one letter said, I'm not embarrassed. We're doing an important job. We even got an accommodation, which we figured was from the Battle of the Bulge. They're right there. The bullets are still flying in some cases.
Yeah.
And even worse than being in the battles are the situations where they have to go back a long time later. And how did honestly, there've been no movies, no books. When we talk about war, we see planes fall from the sky, we see guys shoot each other, and then the camera moves on and the carnage remains. So we never see that part.
Right.
It was very hard for me to find any research on this until I found a book called Crosses in the Wind. And it was written by a man who was in the Graves Registration Service, a man who became a Lieutenant Colonel Shulman. And he wrote 2 years after the war what that was like and wrote specific instances where these men worked. And I took some of his descriptions and gave them to Bud because, quite honestly, this is a book inspired by a true story.
Right.
Based on a true story would mean that everything is true. Every conversation is true. Every character is true. But I couldn't do that. I didn't know who his friends were. I didn't know exactly where he was. So I took Shulman's information and I put Bud in some of those situations. And the most harrowing one was a couple of weeks after Normandy. They sent these guys back to the beach. And you know what a Higgins boat is? It's the boat that drops down and all the guys run. Yeah. One of those boats had been hit with a shell and it flipped. And there were men in it. Now, this is like a couple weeks later, and they're underwater.
Oh, no.
They're under. Now, we're talking no scuba tanks, no nothing. These guys, they said, okay, go down and get the bodies. Go down in the water. They've been down there a while and bring up what's left. And that's what they did.
Well, and who knows, I hate to sound morbid, but after a couple of weeks of floating in water, your body's already breaking down and who knows what's there to, no telling what's going to happen when you go in that water.
Right. And the men had to be very careful because there was metal, there could be unexploded ordnance, that kind of thing. But they couldn't say, no, we're not going to do it.
Right.
Well, and so they had to go in, and that was one of the most harrowing things. And then on top of that, they had to liberate the death camp. And once the death camps were liberated, somebody had to clean it up. These were the guys. You could see in his letters how he disintegrated over this time.
Yeah, and that's what... to me, there's no more crucial job because the way you described it, you're right. You have to be there to bury those individuals, those fallen soldiers, because just the morale thing alone, you're storming the beaches and you're seeing bodies just piling up. You aren't running in the foxhole anymore. You're thinking it's over, and not just that, but just the fact that for him to look at a soldier in the face knowing there's a good chance that I'm going to be picking you up without you looking back at me is really powerful.
Yeah.
Really.
The sad thing. Well, there were a lot of sad things clearly, but it wasn't just Allied soldiers. They had to pick up everybody. So they often they had to get all the German soldiers too.
Wow.
You can't have any bodies because there can be disease happens, and again the morale issue. So it was a horrible job, and And there was one scene that broke my heart, and it was where the men in the graves registration units had trucks full of bodies that they were moving to a cemetery, and there were a group of American soldiers marching down the road that they were on. And when the soldiers saw them, they turned their backs on them. They just turned and wouldn't look at them, like they weren't doing an important job. And what I've learned is that these guys have never gotten any recognition. No one ever said good for you or patted them on the back. And I think it's heartbreaking, because you cannot tell me that these men who came home didn't come home with deep invisible wounds that no one ever allowed them to talk about.
Well, and I couldn't imagine holding that role, and I just couldn't, because I'd be somebody that immediately, the moment I have to, start doing that process, I think about everyone's relatives and all of those really, it's really important conversations on, man, what about his mom? What about his dad? Did he have kids? I couldn't do that job mentally today.
They would have made you.
Exactly.
They would have made you do it. And the thing is, some of the, Bud, because he was older, he was made a sergeant before he went to war, even though he came in as just a regular guy. Mm-hmm. Because he was older, the young kids kind of would go to him and he would help them. He was a good guy. Go ahead.
Sorry for cutting. Was there any correlation or any type of thoughts in his letters about, being an older guy around some of the younger men? Were there any generational, gaps or any, writings on, man, these guys are wild, or what are they saying,
They were not allowed to talk about other soldiers or where they were. But the other thing is that he was an uneducated man. His letters were pretty basic for the most part. Mm-hmm. And they were the guys were also told, don't tell your family bad things. Don't tell them what they're doing. He never even told his mother or his wife what he did. Because how do you explain that? Now think about it. You're supposed to go to war and take that hill and be a hero, and he's over there picking up bodies. So they very often didn't mention it. And I only saw him mention it once to his brother-in-law.
Well, I mean, my heart breaks for that, though, because they're as much a part of the fight than anybody. And, and they had to show more compassion too, and more human-like qualities, because you're fighting your enemy and you're trying to get bodies cleared out and you're trying to do your job. And here's a Nazi soldier that's in front of you. And instead of doing what a lot of, I'm sure, grunt soldiers would want to do and, light him up or whatever, you're treating him with dignity to make sure that soldier is being buried somewhere and being accounted for. And that, to me, is you have to be a certain human to be able to really do those things.
Well, I think, to me, it's probably the most difficult job in the military.
100%.
And where do we go today when we honor people that fought in World War II, World War I? They've always been these people.
Yeah.
We go to the cemeteries that they built. Yeah. And you've been to them. I've been to them. They are graceful and beautiful and peaceful. Where we had killing fields are now beautiful places of remembrance that they built.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that aspect of it.
Nobody does. Every time I say it, they go, I never thought about where the bodies went. Well, today, of course, we still have, it's called mortuary affairs today. Since Vietnam, they've called it mortuary affairs. But we do not bury them on foreign soil anymore. We fly them home. But we didn't have that ability in World War II. There were also so many people dying so quickly that they buried them there. Now, some people got their family members back. They had a choice. But the military said, sign this paper and we're leaving them wherever they are. So we were hoping to bring Bud home. He's buried in Epinal, France, buried by the men he worked with. And but the military owns him now, so we will probably never get to do that.
Well, and that's a whole nother aspect that I've never even thought of, too, is, I'm sure there's so many millions of Americans that want their loved one back home with them rather than over on foreign soil. And that's
families signed those papers. And
did they?
Look. Oh, yeah. Okay. What they'd say is your family member died. They've been buried here because we're in the middle of a war. They couldn't, we didn't have the capacity to ship all these bodies home at that point. We were in the middle of a war for 4 years.
Right.
So today we can put them on a plane and they'll be back here in in your home in 24 hours, but it wasn't like that then. So they told the families at the end of the war, they said, here, we can leave them where they are in these cemeteries we built. If you'd like them to come home, fine. But if not, we'll give you a paycheck. Here's some money. And many families took the money.
Oh, I didn't.
Now, I'm not criticizing.
No, yeah, totally.
That was the case.
But I'm learning though. I always love chatting with you. Even last year I was learning stuff. And it's funny. Someone texts me. They go, CJ, why do you always seem excited whenever you kind of you don't know where to go with something. I go, hell, I'm learning with everybody else too. And that's what life's about, is to learn about those things. And really, it helps me understand better about your book. And now, as you're writing this, did you have any conversations with your friend on some of the discoveries you found? What was that like, from start to finish? I got to hear that story.
Regina, who I call Reg, grew up in the military. Her dad fought in 3 wars. And she's lived by Fort Benning her whole life, or a lot of her life. So she's very military oriented, and she's helped me immensely with research and to tell Bud's story. And she also, the family had many oral histories about Bud, and she relayed them to me. For example, that he married this woman like a couple of weeks before he went to war. Nobody knew who she was, and she was very mysterious, and she remains very mysterious. Lorraine was an odd woman. Have you ever heard of the allotment Annies? Okay, so allotment Annies are women who married multiple soldiers at the same time to get a paycheck. Back in those days, they got $20 a week, which today is like $360 a week. And if the soldier or sailor airman died, they got a $10,000 paycheck. Right. That's like $175,000 today. So there were women who married multiple soldiers or sailors. And in fact, the military knew all about this. They had movie reels that they showed the soldiers saying, please do not marry someone you don't know. Please, because these guys are naive. They're 17, 18-year-old kids that came off farms. And they were very easily manipulated. And one woman was married to 6 sailors at the same time.
Were they on the same boat?
No. The only reason they found out was because these 2 sailors are next to each other in a bar in Australia, and they're going, hey, here's my wife. Here's a picture. And the other guy goes, here's my wife. Wait a minute. It's this woman. And they caught her, and she was one of the few women ever prosecuted for it. She was put in prison for a little bit. But the idea is, now I know that sounds horrible that women would do that, but women had never worked much outside of the home before. They suddenly could be Rosie the Riveter or work for the war effort, but they knew when the men came home, they were back to nothing.
Yeah.
So, and there weren't any high-paying jobs or good-paying jobs for women. So I can sort of understand how a desperate woman might have done this. But Bud's wife was so cruel. And the letters, when the family told me stories about her, because I have no letters from her, the letters in the book I fabricated because I understood what had happened. And I don't want to give too much of it away.
No.
Bottom line is she broke his heart. In the meantime, there were quiet family whispers that he had fallen in love with another woman while he was at war.
Oh.
So, and he was Catholic. He was married. He was very conflicted about these things. And so I don't have all the facts. Again, this is inspired by a true story, but along with the horrors of war, there's a love story in there.
Well, I'm telling you, and I'm excited to get my hands on a copy of this. I mean, whenever you sent me the first email, I went, oh, man, we got to talk about it. And now, here we are, less than a month away from when it hits the online shelves. Is it going to be in bookstores? Where can we find a copy?
You can buy it anywhere. It's on all of the online book sales. You can go to Barnes & Noble. It might not be it wouldn't be on the shelf, but they would get it for you.
Oh, absolutely.
If people go to my website, which is Ann Montgomery writer.com. There's all links to it everywhere.
And we'll make sure to link everything in a write-up that we do, Ann, because this is what a great story. Just the story on writing the book itself is amazing. And then the story you're telling is just really fascinating, and something that really does need to be given more of a look into is the soldiers just like Bud that are going through and being, what's the actual term? What were they called?
Graves registration.
Grave registration. Oh, to me, so many around here, Ann, are going to love learning about that, because I have no idea until you started talking really about their role, what that was.
I think that by nature, we shut that part off.
Yep.
We go, oh, great, cool battle, air battle, planes fall down. But we don't go, hey, where are the pilots that went down?
Yeah.
Where are the guys in the ships? You know, I interviewed a number of World War II veterans when I was a print reporter for a Memorial Day story. My editor said, go out and do a Memorial Day story. Where are all the parties? Where are all the sports? I said, that's not what Memorial Day is.
No.
Memorial Day is about remembering those who didn't come home. And he looked at me, goes, write whatever you want. So I went to the local VFW and I interviewed some men who'd been in World War II. And I mentioned that because one of them, I asked, what do you remember? What do you remember about men who didn't come home? And he said, I was in a helicopter and they were lowering me down into the water to get some bodies, but there were sharks everywhere. And they were eating the bodies. And he said they pulled me back up and would not allow me to go down there. That whole idea isn't what bothered him. It bothered him that they didn't know if it was one or two bodies, and that men could never be declared dead because he couldn't retrieve them.
Oh, man.
So that's, he wanted to do his job, but they wouldn't let him. He couldn't get down there. And so no one ever got any peace of mind about what had happened to their loved one or loved ones. I think it's natural for us to turn away from that part. The other problem with this, though, is not just us wanting to ignore the dead. It's us ignoring the mental health situations of our military.
100%.
Today, every news show, every day is talking about dealing with your mental health and talk about it, and we accept it, but not in the military.
Yeah.
If you have issues, and there are a lot of them that do, they are afraid to mention it, that it will ruin their careers. And guess what? They're right.
Yep.
It should not be like this now. I watched Bud disintegrate through his letters. I watched it. Now, I know how many men came home with deep, invisible wounds that no one wanted to hear about. Yeah, I mean, you probably remember the time in Patton's movie where he slapped the guy who was in the hospital bed suffering from shell shock.
Mm-hmm.
Slapped him and called him a yellow-bellied coward because his brain went. Now, today we know better, but the military doesn't want to talk about that. It's considered weakness, and in the military, all we see is big, strong, tough people, and they've got to fix it because every day in this country, 20 veterans/service people are committing suicide. And we need to do better. The military needs to do better to figure out a way to help these people.
100%, Ann. And I can't speak highly enough on that. I used to do a veteran show when I was on the AM dial over in St. Louis, and all it was about how the VA is getting better. But one thing they never tackled was mental health in these veterans and these folks that are going into the military, and maybe some on-hand counseling services and different tools that those soldiers can lead and learn as they're going through their tenure. And then, of course, the resources afterwards. It's just not there. It's just not.
And the military has proven it can tackle a problem.
Yep.
I mean, I think leading up to World War I, 80% of the wounded died. And they died, infection, all kinds of things. Today, 80% live.
Right.
That are severely wounded. They live because we figured out how to set up MASH units. We figured out how to get people home and get people well and do their surgeries. So bottom line is they need to tackle this. They really do.
They 100%, and so many of us in this area will be echoing those thoughts going forward. And hopefully more of a national conversation can be had on that very important topic too. Ann Montgomery, Your Forgotten Sons comes out what day?
June 6th.
That's okay.
The 80th anniversary of D-Day.
100%. And we'll link it on RiverBender.com on the on-demand interview and on our write-up that we're going to do on this. So that way you guys can just click on the link and you're good to go. And thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you for having me, CJ. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Before we take a quick break, and this was not on purpose, one of our biggest supporters now of the show is Centerstone, which Centerstone is a national leader in mental health and substance use disorder treatment for people of all ages. And folks, if at home, if you're looking for a fresh start on the road to recovery, a life free from addiction is possible, and it starts at Centerstone. Centerstone is a national leader in mental health and substance use disorder treatment, but their clinicians use evidence-based treatment programs in all of their practices. So it means, Ann, that they're getting something that's developed for them, not one of those tried for 10 years and maybe it worked for some, maybe it didn't work. This is developed for you at home that are going through this journey. There's so many unknowns on that road to recovery, but one thing you can know for sure is that Centerstone will be a constant guiding force for you on your recovery journey. You can go to recoverwithus.org, that's recoverwithus.org, or call 1-877-HOPE-123 to learn more today. Ann Montgomery, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, CJ. That was perfect.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll take a quick break here in our daily show. We'll roll right around the corner, right up.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
Riverbender Radio has built 3 great new stations just for you in the Riverbend. The Eagle, the Riverbend's classic rock station. The Bridge, hit music for the Riverbend. And The River, today's country, and all your favorites. Check them out today at RiverBender.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Well rehearsed, but my heart cried out for you. You're in my heart, you're in my soul. You be my breath, should I grow old. You are my lover, you're my best friend. You're in my soul.
March. Welcome back, 10:11 on this, is it Wednesday? Wednesday morning. I'm telling you what, this rain has just got me all 6 ways to sideways. Desiree, Brittany, how are we doing this morning?
Great, how are you?
Doing hanging in there. I just came back from Grafton and heard all about Storm the Beach yesterday. Mayor Morrill was at the North Alton Godfrey Business Council meeting and filled us in, but this is super cool. I mean, there's an opportunity to watch the company do the 3D scanning of, the monument
in person in the next couple of weeks. Isn't that not this next week, but the following week?
First week of June.
That is so cool. And it's really cool to see a community really rally behind an idea like this. And it seems like everyone's on the same page to get this monument really done and get it done right. And of course, as quickly as possible. And it seems like it's all hands on deck.
Yes, I think so.
So fill me in. How long have you guys been a part of the process with the monument and getting the word out and getting some funds generated for this great cause?
Well, our capital campaign began in October of last year.
Wow.
So we've been working on funding through that. Desiree here is with Witches on the Water.
Uh-huh.
And they have made quite a bit of a huge donation, $26,000
total.
Total.
Oh.
Yeah. All money made from the Witches on the Water.
Well, I was getting ready to say that's an institution at this point. The Witches on the Water event is an institution. And, you know, how does it make you feel, Desiree, to know that, you know, and something that you guys have, Witches on the Water, is really not able just to say, hey, we like what you're doing, but we're actively supporting you, because that's not just a, hey, keep up the good work. That's a, let's get this sucker going.
Yeah.
That's got to feel really great for you and the team over at Witches on the Water, too.
Yeah, no, it does. We always wanted a cause for the event. You know, it just really helps us bring people in, you know, come together for a cause and also have a good time with Witches on the Water.
Well, I just like the community really just so much over in Grafton, because it seems like everyone tries what they can to, you know, you do too? Well, it seems like everyone tries to do something, you know, that they can do to help out an initiative or cause just like this one. And now Storm the Beach at Raging Rivers is another great institution that's trying to find a way to really help elevate the monument and get some more funds generated, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Fill me in. I'm nosy. What's happening now?
It's a great partnership. June 7th, 2024, from 6 to 9, Raging Rivers is hosting an event. It's an evening of family fun at Raging Rivers. We're going to have photo opportunities with Live Mermaid, some kids' activities.
A live mermaid?
Yes. Yes.
I'm in. That's cool.
Yeah. Patriotic attire contest with prizes. We're going to have a silent auction, 50-50 drawing with a raffle. Tickets are $40 for adults and $20 for kids and under.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really cool, though, because it's a really great way to bring families together to kick off the summer, really, because there's nobody that's more busy than Grafton in the summer, you know? I mean, and for everyone to really kind of have, you know, June 7th as a day to, you know, show their support for the National Memorial of Military Ascent, but also really just to bring the family together and just enjoy, you know? That's a really great treat for everybody to have. Now, you can get tickets on Raging River's website.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on it now because I was nosy earlier. So look at this. We can go on the screen. We're going to show them here just to make sure they know how to get tickets.
So you click on the memorial icon there.
Oh, I'm too big. Hold on here. Hold on. Let me zoom out. We got to show them. We'll walk through this together. Yeah. So click on that badge here, that National Memorial of Military Ascent, and all of a sudden...
And scroll down.
Yeah.
Oh.
There should be buy tickets.
You got to click on the poster again, and then you scroll down to... Get your tickets for Grafton Memorial. Oh, I got to zoom out even more. That's okay. Well, you get the idea. You got to click on that. I was trying to show them so we could just take them right to it. But you click right on that poster there, Storm the Beach, and then the next page will take you to that ticket link where you can click on adult, child, and click on next. It'll take you to that payout link, and you're helping support the National Memorial of Military Ascent. And now, how'd you guys get involved in this?
Lynn Morrow.
Yep.
She put together a group, and we actually call ourselves the Stars and Stripes Commission.
I love it.
Yeah. And that will be the commission from here on out for all fundraising for the National Memorial.
And now folks can contribute to this throughout the year, correct? Online. It's graftonmemorial.org, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. And so far, how has it been for you guys to see the process of the memorial, too? Because whenever Mayor Morrill was talking yesterday, to hear about, like, the 2-year timeline on getting the bronze statues and what it takes to cast them and bringing in live models to do 3D scans, I mean, that's exciting just to hear about, but to be a part of the train that's pushing it, that's got to be even cooler.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. It really is. It's a huge learning curve.
I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine. Did anything that you've done, like with Witches on the Water, or anything you've done in past work, did it prepare you at all for this type of
Yes.
task? Did it?
Yes.
What'd you do before, if you don't mind me asking?
I actually am also a secretary for the Grafton American Legion.
Oh, okay. Really cool.
So we've put a lot of different fundraisers together over the years, and that's helped. A little bit of knowledge there.
That's really cool. Desiree, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I just have always enjoyed kind of putting an event together, and especially if there's a cause, it's just, becomes a driving force to make it really, fun for people. So, yeah, I mean, Witches on the Water is really my first experience in being involved in this type of, fundraiser.
Mm-hmm. I just love it. And, getting back to the event, Storm the Beach, a salute to veterans past and present, June the 7th, 6 to 9 p.m. at Raging Rivers Water Park. Now, I'm nosy. Silent auction items. What are we talking here?
We have quite a few. We have lots of artwork. We have some overnight stay passes.
Mm-hmm.
We have a huge, beautiful table that was donated by Naughty by Nature.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
That has the rivers on the top of it, the meeting of the rivers. And what else?
I think some knives I saw. We're hoping to get all that information posted really soon.
On the Facebook page.
Yeah, we're still gathering all
Really
those
cool.
items and getting pictures, but we're hoping to get that information to the public, really soon.
Man, I could only imagine, because if you get some folks there, the 50-50 could be really fun, too. That's the raffle I'm always interested in, because I like to be the big winner. And kids' activities, can we go through some of those, too? What'll be on hand?
First of all, Raging Rivers has lots of kids'
That
activities.
is the kids' activity, yes.
We're going to have an arts and crafts station, and the mermaid, we hope, will be very exciting for the children.
I think so, too. So arts and crafts and all on top of the amenities that are already there, too. And I like that for maybe someone that doesn't really want to be a swimmer out there, maybe go ride on the rides or go down the slides. They can still enjoy the day with mom and dad while their brother and sister are out there going down the water slides. That's cool.
Yeah, and live music we'll have too.
Oh, who's playing?
Yeah.
Jake Weber and the Lonesome Drifters.
That is a great choice, as always. I like that. Great call. Great call. And now, folks, if you're just tuning in, tickets are $40 per adult or $20 for kids that are 12 years old or under. And this all goes towards the National Memorial of Military Ascent. And that's what the profits benefit. Is there any goals that you guys have in mind set for this event? Did you guys have any like $10,000, $12,000 goal?
We had a goal of selling 3,000 tickets.
Oh.
So
we're going to do it. Yeah. We're going to do it. I know the goal now. We got this covered. And, what better way, really, to be out in Grafton? I mean, June 7th, right when the weather's getting warm, the rain's going to stop here in 2 weeks, and then it'll be dry for 4 months. We all know how this works by now, Unless something, crazy happens. But this is a great opportunity to say, you know what, you did support this, because this memorial is going to be here for generations, and how cool would it be, whenever you're younger now, but maybe you have grandkids in 30, 40 years, you can say, yeah, we actually went out and we donated to that, and we did X, Y, and Z to help support it. I think that's really cool to be a part of myself. And with you both, what's your favorite part about being behind this project, or just trying to help support the project as it goes forward? What's your favorite part of it?
For me, it's just the idea that, the mayor come up with and seeing it, come to life.
Mm-hmm.
Anything is possible, I think, especially when the community comes together. And that's my favorite part, is seeing that it is actually probably going to happen, and sooner than we initially expected. So
that's what I think's really, really cool about this, too. What are your thoughts?
I've always been a huge supporter of veterans myself. Lots of family members that have served, and a lot of our children don't understand any of this. So the education part is huge for me.
Well, and what I think is it's really going to be great for elementary schools and school districts alike to go and take that day trip and make that half-a-day field trip or even a full day to go out and really learn about, what that monument means and some of the backstory to that and the origin story to why it's there. And what I didn't know was that Grafton actually is the largest number of veterans in the state per capita. I had no idea. I'm looking on your website
17%.
now. That's a huge number. I mean, that's just incredible, and something you keep learning each and every day. Now, did you guys know anything about bronze statues before this? Because when I heard about the 2-year process, it blew my mind. But just to know you're getting that good of a quality, I mean, you're getting a literal, museum quality or, Washington, D.C. quality monument here in the village of Grafton is just wonderful. And, how many partners do you have now in the community for this monument and for this program as a whole? Too many to count?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to...
Quite a few, yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm just looking
Not
at...
just in Grafton either.
Really? Take me to how many...
Alton, St. Louis.
Really? Well, and was it easy for them to get on board with it, too? That's even better.
The mayor's amazing
He
at
is.
telling the story, so if you hear it, you're on board.
You really are. And, just hearing it yesterday and hearing some of the local tie-in to it, too, was really unique in just terms of, what we could take out of it driving through in the Riverbend. And I thought it was so cool to hear Mayor Morrow and how passionate he was about it. And what I think's cool, too, is that, it seems like the mayor is such a great motivator, too, over in Grafton. Because, I mean, I was hook, line, and sinker, like, let's do this. Where am I going? Where am I sending the news team out to take these pictures at? Now, when are they coming in to do the 3D scans? Because I know that we had the, offer at the meeting to kind of stop by and see the scanning take place. Do you know what day that is?
It will be held at the Visitor Center, and I believe it's the 1st through the 6th.
The 1st through the 6th? And then, that's perfect timing then. You can go and observe the scanning and then get all the excitement built up and brewed for the 7th when you're out there at Raging Rivers at night. Now, did they approach you or did you approach them for the event?
With Raging Rivers?
They approached us.
That's cool. I love that a lot. It seems like there's some...
And they're the neighbor of the Visitor Center where it's going to be, so...
That's a good point, too. That's another great reason to reach out, but it's still really cool to know that, you guys are having folks call you, and it's not playing the game of 4 hours on the phone figuring out what do we do next. And I just love it. It shows how strong the Grafton community is. And now what else is coming down the pipeline, after Storm the Beach? Is there anything else that you can direct our attention to? Anything to keep our eyes out for?
As of now, I don't believe. We do have Warren Gold. He's the Native American practitioner.
Yep.
He's going to be coming into town. It's a private event for the local area mayors that's going to be held in Grafton, but hopefully we can get him to do some kind of speaking in the area.
And we're working on getting him on the show. I was just going back and looking at the email because, I mean, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening, and it's one of those I hope families in the Riverbend really do realize, and just individuals alike, because you don't get very many opportunities of something this, monumental happening to a region, and to be a part of it's wonderful. And I just, after hearing the mayor yesterday and just seeing some of the excitement on a few of the local business owners in Grafton, you guys are just a great team, across the board. How many hands are are on deck in this group?
On the Storm the Beach?
Yep.
What is it, about 20?
Yeah, the
20
Stars and Stripes Commission.
volunteers.
Yeah.
And you started the process in February?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Event planning amazes me because you don't think it would, whenever you go to something, you don't realize that it takes months upon months and numerous emails and phone calls to get this done. And, whenever you were planning this, were there any hurdles, any hiccups, with silent auction items, anything like that with what do we do the day of? Because for me, my biggest thing was the rain that hit that I did not plan for.
Yeah.
With mine. That was mine.
Yeah.
We've had hiccups, but nothing that we can't overcome.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I love it. And now is it a diverse group? Business owners, regular, everyday,
Very diverse.
I love it. That's
from all over.
That's cool. And what I like about it too is it's broader than just the city of Grafton. I mean, you're going all across the Metro East now and bringing folks in. And now I heard something about the Army Rangers coming into town. Is that coming up soon too?
They will actually be at this event too.
That's right. Okay, now fill me in. How are they going to be on? Is it going to be something to where it's like a?
They're reenactors.
Cool.
They'll be in uniform, and they're going to have their military vehicle there too for the children or anybody to get photos with.
In the parking lot at Raging Rivers, or?
We're actually going to bring it into Raging Rivers.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Drive it in there.
That's awesome. How do you get that sucker in there?
We have our way.
And as this moves forward, I know that there was a chance of 2025 of seeing a little bit of getting some of the statues brought in. Is that correct?
That's
Did I hear
the goal.
That? And then 2026 is the official opening.
Grand opening.
And now, what I think is cool too is I was talking to Seed to Sown a couple of months ago, and just seeing all of the really cool T-shirts being made, all of the great merchandise that really does help support that mission. And is there a way, are those shirts still available for folks at home if they want to, grab one and make sure they're supporting some way?
Yes, they can go to seedtosown.com.
Okay.
They also will be at the flea market. Is that next weekend? A fourth weekend of every month in Grafton. They're going to be this summer selling their merchandise. They're going to be on Memorial Day. They're going to be at Grafton American Legion selling. And they are also going to be at the Grafton Art Gallery that Memorial weekend.
How is that coming along? Is the Grafton Art Gallery cool?
Yes.
I haven't been inside yet, but
and they're wanting to support veterans too, so.
100%. I know I talked to somebody that got a chance to kind of peek their head in and get a sneak preview, and they said nothing but great things. So that's wonderful. And just so you know, folks, this is a 501c3 tax-exempt nonprofit organization. So that way, just so you know, your donations are tax deductible in case you have some extra dollars throughout the year, or maybe just want to keep contributing as the months go on. Now, do you guys have a monthly option to where if someone wants to give, $10 or $15 a month, do you have that option yet, or will they have to do that each month on their own?
They have to do that on their own each month.
Cool. And getting back to Storm the Beach, just to reiterate this to you, Jake Weber, he's going to be playing some tunes from 6 to 9 p.m. And now what else is coming down the pipeline? Fill us in again.
So we'll have a live mermaid there. I believe she will be from 6 to 8 for photos.
That's
or meet
awesome.
and greets. And then, as mentioned earlier, the Army truck will be there and the Rangers. And then we're going to have a patriotic attire contest. I believe that is scheduled for around 7 p.m.
Oh, that could get crazy.
Yes, there will be there will be prizes for that. And then the kids' activities, the silent auction, 50-50. And just a good time. There will be beverages and food sold by Raging Rivers will be available. So
really cool. Well, and just going segueing off of the patriotic contest, it's great to know that there are events that you can really just celebrate the love that you have for your veteran, for your country, and just show that patriotic side, because it seems like we kind of lost that the last couple of years, where we aren't as proud to showcase our pride in country, and this is a great way to do it, especially ahead of the 4th of July weekend in Grafton, just less than a month after the event.
Yeah.
This is really cool. Storm the Beach, June the 7th. We'll see you at Raging Rivers. Now, is there anything else that I'm forgetting about?
I don't believe so, but there's so many aspects to it that hopefully we didn't forget.
No, and that's the thing, because this is such a big project. And whenever I was talking to Seed to Sow, and it's like, where do you even start talking? Because when I heard the mayor talk yesterday, it completely added a whole new element that I had never heard before. And it's like, well, there's a story there too, but it's like we still got to talk about the process going forward and getting those goals met. And just know that this is, so many moving pieces to it. And I think that everyone on the team, a part of the monument, is doing just a hell of a job to get this done, because it's not easy to tackle something like this. And you guys are doing it and doing it well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that being said, we'll see you in Grafton on June the 7th. For more information, just head on over to RiverBender.com. Click on the National Memorial of Military Ascent icon, and once you do, that'll take you to another flyer. Click on the flyer. That'll take you to the ticket link, and you are good to go, and you are storming the beach on June the 7th. At 10:30, we'll take a quick break. Our daily show rolls right around the corner after this on Riverbender.
No matter.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was going to make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
no matter the season. Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com. About to salute to service this Memorial Day Monday, as I've been telling you guys and as we've been talking about the past couple of weeks. Instead of just having one segment for Alton VFW this month, we thought, why not just talk about Alton VFW, the great veterans that are at the post and contribute to the post, and just talk about the community aspect right here on this Memorial Day as we reflect on those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And Dave Stout in studio now with me. Sir, how are we doing this beautiful Monday?
Oh, it is a gorgeous day.
And with that being said, as folks know, I kept telling people, I said, we're going to pre-record these because we all know how busy you guys are getting, preparations done and memorials done. And,
right.
The big takeaway, we were talking to Bill Perkins, and, so much of my generation, I think gets it a little bit wrong. And you don't celebrate Memorial Day. You remember all those on Memorial Day. And Mr. Stout, right off the bat, what does Memorial Day mean to you?
Well, as a person, I have personal connections to Memorial Day because I've lost several close friends, and a lot of people I've known have given their life in the cause for the country. So it's really personal to me. I don't like it when people say Happy Memorial Day.
No.
I don't like it.
No. And is Memorial Day really a day for you to reflect on some of those, past experiences with your friends and brothers that have fallen? And is that what that day really is for you?
Absolutely. It's I think about them all the time anyway.
Right.
But on Memorial Day especially.
Yeah, without a doubt. And so many people, Mr. Stout, don't realize that Alton has the oldest, most continuous, long-running Memorial Day Parade in the country.
That's a fact.
This is 156th year in a row.
Some little town in Ohio is trying to claim they started the same time, but I think the word continuous knocks them out.
Well, and two, just tell that town in Ohio that Nasello's after him. We'll get him done. We'll win this battle 9 times out of 10, Well, and two, so many times with Post 1308, you guys have been in our community for so long and doing so many great things that I think sometimes we forget about your guys' contributions throughout the year, and then especially on Memorial Day. What are some of the things that you guys do at the Post that you would like to highlight as we reflect on this?
Well, the VFW is supposed to be involved in the community. That's it doesn't actually say it in the charter, but it's implied. It's very important for us to be out in the community. The VFW for years and years has a reputation as a smoky old bar where a bunch of guys tell war stories.
Oh, right.
Well, the smoky old bar thing is illegal in Illinois. So.
That's a good point.
and occasionally you'll hear a war story or two, but that's not the common thing. It's a place where veterans can go, hopefully feel welcome. Like any organization that has a whole lot of people, there's personality conflicts and things that go on that I wish they wouldn't, but it's human nature and it is what it is. But the Post itself, we've been around since 1936. right, I believe it was November 10th, 1936, their charter was put into effect by the Congress of the United States. And they had their original meetings down on Ridge Street in Turner Hall, which still stands. I don't know if I'd go in there, but, but it's still standing, or it was. At least the last time I was up Ridge Street, it was still there. And then they moved out to North Alton, Del Mar State, basically. And in 1972, we moved over to the building we currently have. And all through those years, they've been part of the community. They participated in the Halloween parade, of course. The Memorial Day Parade, of course, because it's only fitting that a bunch of combat veterans that have a actual connection to people who have passed in the service of their country would lead that parade.
Without a doubt.
That's just the way it should be.
Without a doubt.
We do a lot of military funerals with the ritual team in the local area, and we've done them as far away as Sykeston, Missouri. We've done them all over central and southern Illinois, and that's just reaching out to families and telling them, we care.
Yeah,
the people, the veteran who passed is authorized the honor of a final salute, so we try to render it professionally to the best of our ability. So, and we do. I've been a member of that team for almost 25 years, and we average 100 funerals a year. So, wow. That's a lot of funerals.
Well, and to me, there's no, in my opinion, there's no other more important job than that final send-off, too, in that role. That's a very crucial part of really the ceremonial process when you're laying your soldier to rest, your fellow soldier. And to me, I think you can't thank you guys enough for doing those things to honor.
Yeah, it's our honor to go out there and do it, to provide that minuscule piece of comfort to a grieving family. We're all honored to do it. And the guys do a pretty good job.
Without a doubt. And I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your time specifically with the VFW, because I know that you've been in a handful of positions in and around the organization. And with that being said, what are some of those things that you were able to accomplish with the posts that you're most proud of, too, to this day?
Well, I'm sure Wayne will touch on this, but maybe not. He's kind of shy. But the CID program with Courage, Inspiration, and Determination Award that they give to children who are struggling with life-threatening or at least life-altering conditions. I was part of the original planning committee on that, but I kind of stepped away and let Wayne and Bill Perkins run with it.
And Bill mentioned that. Yeah. And to me, when you guys bring this up and you tell me about it, I saw a picture of a young Wayne and a younger-looking Bill Perkins at the post office with this. So, and to me, there is nothing that made my hair stand up that day other than that, knowing that is one of the most incredible things I've ever heard. To really design this, to develop this honor to somebody who's going through the battle of a lifetime in a lot of cases, that has this positive mindset that's not letting them get. To me, those are huge characteristics to highlight, and that's fantastic.
It's a great program.
Wow.
The VFW itself have programs where we reach out to high school, middle school, grade school students. Patriotism Awards, Voice of Democracy, which is a speech that you can pick up a little scholarship money at post, district, and state level, and possibly even national level. we've been involved in the Voice of Democracy program and the Patriot Pen. Voice of Democracy is for high school students.
Okay.
Patriot Pen is for middle school students. And then the Americanism is for grade school, kindergarten, whatever. I mean, it's all a great program. You get to interact with the students and their families, and just a little bit of visibility out in the
community presence.
Out in the community. We worked very closely with Alton Junior ROTC for years, and we were really happy about doing that.
I heard they had a great ROTC program at Alton.
Yes.
I really did. I've heard nothing but positive things from folks that have been a part of it and really helped them with their careers too.
It's a very good program. It's not very visible, but over the years, during the '93 floods, the Post bought a boat and motor for the rescue team, the local rescue AVEC, or I believe that's we bought them a boat and a motor. We also had people down here working the sandbags because we were much younger then.
Well, this is so ironic you bring this up. My grandma was at ICU at St. Anthony's for a long time and was at the State Mental Health Hospital as an administrator, and she was just talking about the flood and how they were on a boat giving people shots because of things that were in the water and all these different. I mean, what you guys had to do to pull together as a community in that time is just remarkable in itself. And with that, I wanted to ask you about a couple of other things because, I could talk to you all day long. I mean, I really could. You're such a great guy, and all the stuff that you've done for us, I mean, really is amazing. And
thank you.
When you talk to kids at some of these presentations, what is your perception on the younger generation's thoughts towards, active service or maybe even a Memorial Day holiday like this one?
The younger kids are just younger kids.
Right,
they are what they are,
Right.
And they're funny and they're cute, and some of them ask questions that I really don't care to answer. So I just divert.
Smile and wave. Smile and wave.
You get into the middle schools, and they're developing a worldview, even at that age.
Absolutely.
And I've been asked many times what it was like being in the service, and I say, well, I didn't like it. I only spent 26 years in there. And that usually confuses them for a second until they
give you the puppy dog turn.
They process what I said, but they'll ask good questions, and I've talked to a lot of them about high school kids. Of course, they're kind of like all of us were in high school. They're not really focused on the future. They're kind of living day to day.
Like the AA class, one day at a time.
One day at a time, full bore, full speed ahead. But, but like I say, I talk to them a lot. My neighbor across the street got a couple young boys in there. One of them I know for sure is in CM. And I think he's interested. He just, I need to sit down with him one time, just sit down and talk to him.
Yeah.
So everybody got the big goal going to college and all that, which you can still do if you go in the military.
Yeah.
And the military pays for it, so you really don't have any student loan. But
you're right. Well, I'm telling you what, my uncle, lieutenant commander in the Navy, he whenever he got out, he was finishing up his master's while he was still in the Navy, went out, and now he's the vice president of an electric company down in Florida.
There you go.
There's a lot of possibilities here with this.
Yeah, if you like it, making a career is just a great choice. I lived all over the world by the time I was 40, so.
A lot of experience there, huh?
Well, seeing different cultures and interacting with different cultures, of course. And, every time I'd come home, though, I was still glad to be back in the United States. Because I loved Australia and I loved England. I even liked Germany. Germany was a nice place. It's just got a little bit different feel.
Yeah.
And when you get back home,
yeah,
it's always special to come back. So this time I came back in 1999, and I haven't left since. But
well, and that's what I think is really insightful to hear too, because so many times we hear about younger generations and what their thoughts, feelings are. But I wanted to ask you, because you are firsthand experience talking to younger kids, and you're a part of those presentations. And with that being said, on Memorial Day, I know that there's the question I should ask, really, guys, is what are you not going to be at on Memorial Day? Because I know you guys set up flags early. You're going and doing so many different ceremonial things. Are you going to be a part of a lot of those processions as well?
Oh yeah. Actually, we start this coming weekend. There's last year on the weekend prior to Memorial Day, they dedicated Sam Killian Park up on Washington Avenue.
Right.
And we were invited to attend there and fire a ceremonial salute and play taps. And that's our first gig on Memorial Day weekend. We're gonna be there around 1:30 on a Saturday afternoon to just fire the ceremonial volley and play taps for everyone.
Right.
From Alton, Godfrey, East Alton.
It's a great celebration.
That gave their life during World War.
Yeah, absolutely.
To their country, and there's a lot of them. There's a bunch. Somewhere there's a list of all the men and possibly women that died from Alton Godfrey during World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and our current issues with Iraq and Afghanistan. So that's what that salute is for. And that's our first kickoff on Memorial Day. Then we go out to Fosterburg on Sunday, 1:30 in the afternoon again. And this has been a tradition out in Fosterburg for years and years and years of doing a service for all the fallen in that little cemetery out there at Fosterburg. And we've been doing it. I've been doing it for 25 years.
Wow.
Now, I don't know, before me being on the team, I don't know how many years we've done it, but it's possibly been a long time.
Wow.
So we try to keep that tradition going. And then, of course, Memorial Day's nuts. We start at 6 o'clock in the morning putting up flags. We go to every cemetery in Alton, including the Confederate cemetery, because they're actually considered American veterans.
I did not realize that, actually.
Congress made that happen in 1954.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't realize
I did not. That's actually very fascinating.
But, the Congress declared them veterans in 1954. A little late, maybe. But,
maybe.
But we fire ceremonial salute out there at 9, or probably right around 7:30 in the morning, and wake up the entire neighborhood. And from there, we go over to St. Joseph's over by St. Anthony's Hospital. Then we go down to Alton National. And then we go out and throw a wreath off the bridge. If anybody in the police department's listening to this, we need to set up the coordination for that again. So,
can you explain why you do that with the bridge?
It's for the Navy guys.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
the people that died at sea.
Okay,
and there were quite a few of those. And then, of course, we go to Milton Hill Cemetery, which a lot of people don't know is even there.
Right.
Nobody drives by it anymore because Milton Road kind of dead ends down there at the bottom of that hill. But and then we go out and do the parade.
And to me, whenever you're talking about James Killian Day, I was mentioning the celebrate. It's definitely for all the folks. I'm not saying a celebratory, item at all being done, a memorial being done. But to me, I think there's no better way to kick off that weekend than at Killian Park with such a great group. And
I just can't get over this. And I mean, to me, it makes me just want to tear up sometimes, because to know that, you guys put the work in that I will never understand the work that you did overseas and what you've done to, help protect our country. But to say, to come back and for years to remember this day and to remember the fallen and to keep up the community support throughout the year is just remarkable. And I mean that. I mean, it's to me, it takes a special type of individual to do what you do.
Yeah, it's... Like I say, if it's not in a person's heart to do it, then it's not that we don't want you on the team, but you're not going to be happy. So, any veteran out there that would like to come talk to me about joining the team, we'd be more than proud to have you. We're trying to keep it going, and.
You guys are doing a great job. And I mean that. The VFW, whether you want to go to have one of your events there in that great bingo hall, which they help you every step of the way to set it up and get it going, or even going out just to the canteen and talking to, old friends, making new ones, or how about this? Just saying thank you to a veteran that served our country with honor.
Absolutely.
And to me, I think that's what it's all about. And Mr. Stout, before I let you go, we've been talking for 20 minutes already. I could talk to you for a whole show in itself.
That's a long conversation for me, because my conversations normally involve a 10-word text.
Yeah.
And then I'm gone.
I love it. So with that being said, as we wrap this up, and right now we decided to play the show earlier today, so that way by the time it ends, it's 10 o'clock and we're going right into the parade. What are your final takeaways for the public on this day? Is there anything that you like to get out about Memorial Day? Because there's nobody better to ask really than you.
I just ask people to do something really, really simple. If you're having a family get together or a picnic somewhere or whatever, before you sit down for your meal or say a prayer, add into that prayer, thank God for the people who have been willing to give the ultimate sacrifice for their country. Take a moment of silence.
Yeah.
And, most veterans I know don't ask for thanks or anything like that. It's, it's personal day to us. Some of us might be a little grumpy on Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
But, I just thank God for the support the people of Alton have given us over the years, and the many wonderful people I've met at the VFW, all the way from World War I veterans all the way through our current veterans. There's some incredibly fine people that go in there. And don't worry about the smoke. It doesn't exist. so
it's true.
Just I hope everyone has a thoughtful and meaningful Memorial Day, and God bless America.
I couldn't have said it better myself right there. Dave Stout, thank you so much for your time. Really enjoy speaking with you.
Say hi to your Uncle Guy.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, but before I do, big shout out to Prairie State Gaming over at Alton VFW, Post 1308. They're a big part of why we're able to do Salute to Service and do these monthly segments and really just keep providing you this information. So stop by the Prairie State Gaming Room, hit a jackpot, because I've been on a losing streak for a couple of months, and we'll take a quick break. Our Memorial Day Salute to Service continues after this in the heart of the Riverbend.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good. You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center.
More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
DJ Mike Keith.
This is where I am today. Let me show you where I started.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit altontoyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Mungan Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Mungan Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Mungan Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Naselli on RiverBender.com. It is a Memorial Day Monday right here in downtown Alton, and all day long for this show, like I've been previewing for the past couple of weeks, we are doing Salute to Service with Alton VFW Post 1308. Chad, Wayne, and Angie helping set up some great interviews like this one we're about ready to have with Bill Perkins, who, right off the bat, before I ask you about your time in the service and all the community work that you do, you were recently a little bit of a star around here. Is it okay if I ask you about the brick streets really fast?
Sure.
Awesome. I got to ask you. So we were talking before we hit record here, and this is something you've known for quite some time.
Yes. Well, I growing up, I always heard it was the steepest West 7th was the steepest paved street in the world. Mm-hmm. Once I got in the Marine Corps and kind of got around, I saw streets that were steeper, and I just kind of put it on a back burner. And then some years back, I got to looking at that again. When we finally got the internet, you Google that, and you find out it's not. But through the process of elimination, there's no street steeper that's entirely brick.
Gotcha.
So.
And so this time, after a couple of attempts to really get something going, now able to put some press out.
Yes,
huh?
Thanks to the folks at Principia that came down and measured it all. Yeah.
That's just incredible. And I had to ask you because I almost called you, but then Dan had such a great story. I thought, well, every question was pretty much answered that I had in that one. And so really appreciate your time. And if you could give us a little bit of a background on your role in service for our country and what branch you were a part of and the conflicts.
Well, I graduated Alton High in 74, went in the Marine Corps, and did 20 years.
Wow.
And I always joked that between Saigon 75 and Somalia in 93, there wasn't too many dances I didn't get invited to. My trade was communications. I did tours as an instructor at OCS. I worked special operations for a while, reconnaissance a lot, and enjoyed that. Been primarily Far East and so forth in that area, Southwest Asia and all. Never made any Mediterranean cruises or deployments into that area. Central America and that Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
But,
it's very interesting. And if you don't mind me asking, was life in service or active duty military, was that something you always wanted to do, or was that just the way your cards were dealt in 74?
Oddly enough, I toyed with the idea of the military from time to time over the years. And of all the things, June of 73, I saw the movie Battle Cry.
Okay.
Next day, I went down and talked to the recruiter, Gunnery Sergeant Cummings. He was from Memphis, Tennessee. Graduated Humes High School a year ahead of Elvis.
Okay, I was going to ask.
And I told him I was interested in communications, and he gave me some brochures. He said, look, you got another year of school. He says, I'll call you in January. Because he talked about the delay entry program, join now, leave later. Mm-hmm. He said, but I want you to finish school. And so then the following year, I entered the delay entry program, and then a little bit after graduation, shoved off for Parris Island.
Wow. And I mean, with that being said, what do you think? What are some of the skills that you learned with your time? Being a Marine and active. Did it shape who you are today, and take care of some of those growing pains we all needed?
The thing I love about the military is that I went places and I saw the world, and I know there's parts of it I didn't see, and I saw a lot of things I didn't like, a lot of things that made me grateful for what I had, and I didn't grow up with a lot. But when I saw what other people had, which was a lot less than I had, it made me grateful. And it's a growing experience. And it teaches you, regardless of what branch, to live on your own. You got to make your decisions. You got to make those decisions and live with the results of them. And it makes you self-sufficient. And it gives you a sense of responsibility and accomplishment. And many times it's the intangibles that are most rewarding. And there's a kind of a difference when I talk to people, I make this amount of money, or, I own this, and I'll say, okay, well, what do you do? Well, I'm in the, and anybody you talk to, I'm in the military. Raleigh, where you been?
That's true.
they'll start talking about, like a buddy of mine that him and his wife were both in the Navy, and they did tours in Scotland twice. And it's like people are like, wow.
Well, and with that being said, this Monday is a very special Monday as we get to, remember. And, Bill, I'm sure you have had this question asked many times, but if you could, for our audience, what does Memorial Day mean to you?
My pet peeve: do not say Happy Memorial Day to a veteran.
Right.
Because this is the day that we remember the people that didn't come back, or the ones whose families still have scars, and we'll always have those scars. And it's a time for remembrance and being thankful for what we have. It's not a time for celebration.
And that's what I was going to ask you, because time and time again, it seems like, especially with my generation, there was a recent study that came out that it kind of showed that not a lot of, the people that are my age knew the difference between a Veterans Day and a Memorial Day, and that's troubling to me. And, with that being said, how do you spend your Monday in reflection and remembrance as, someone who is a veteran of the Marines?
Well, Memorial Day for me is a very busy day.
Yeah.
Because I'm at the VFW 6 in the morning putting up flags, and the flags we put up had been on the coffins of veterans. Wow. And the families had donated them. We embroider their name on it, and it goes up, and we use them until they become unserviceable. Then we properly retire them. So we put those up. And then I'm also with the Marine Corps League, and we put the flags up over at the Upper Alton section of Oakwood Cemetery. Then we go around to the cemeteries. We fire honors at all the cemeteries. Then we do the repo at the bridge. We come back, grab a drink of water, switch rifles, grab flags, go do the parade.
Oh, so you're going to be moving a little bit on Monday. Well, yes. And with that being said, and you hit on something great, because I went, how do you start an interview, when we're talking about Memorial Day? Because I'm definitely know a little bit more enough to get, don't say Happy Memorial Day, because, this is a time to reflect. And if you could, who are some of and don't mean to pry here, but in your time in the military, was there a folk or two that you met along the way that kind of changed who you were, or added to your perspective of who you are?
A little bit. There's I remember Rick Pittman. He was Medal of Honor winner.
Wow.
And we were stationed to we were both stationed at the same time, spent time at Staff and SEAL Club together. But he always said the same thing. He says, the problem with being Medal of Honor winners, you stop being the person and start becoming the medal.
Yeah.
And just in the way he brought that up, it reminded me to keep an eye on what I have and the people that I'm in charge of. Yeah. And because there's other things he said in it right. about the matter, but it's really hard to pin down any certain people per se, because there's so many of them that I run into that went all the way back to World War II. That many of those that did 30 years were winding up about time that I had any exposure to them, and so they were senior enlisted. That I just see as an example, and then of course the Koreans, the Vietnam, and so forth. But it was always the same thing: taking care of your Marines and taking care of your equipment, and make sure you get the mission done, mission first, and then your people. And it teaches you responsibility, accountability, and keep planning and so forth. All of that came out of the examples, the advice of all the different people.
Wow. And, and to me, that's what fascinates me the most, because my, uncle, lieutenant commander in the Navy, my brother over, was in Afghanistan, and just to talk to them about some of the folks that they met, it seems like your guys' relationships really do go beyond, what a couple of years of a normal friendship would look like, and they're lifelong in a lot of ways. And with that being said, when you're doing all of these, tributes, and you're going out and you're doing the salutes and you're placing flags, is there something that you reflect on at each spot, or is there just a message that's in your mind all day, or is it, at this point, just trying to make sure that you're getting everything done efficiently and making sure that we can do this the right way?
Well, we put these up for a reason. And so my mindset is on accomplishing them, to get the flags up, get them up right, looking good, and then I'm happy. So in my mind, I know I've done what needs to be done. Mission accomplished.
Right.
And that's pretty much the end of it there.
Awesome. And with that being said, how do you feel the Riverbend community is with Memorial Day? Do they celebrate it the right, or do they remember it the right way? Do they?
One, I cannot stand that term, Riverbend.
Yeah, that's true.
Greater Alton Metroplex, which sounds very positive and aggressive and progressive. The people I'm around understand. See, that's the thing. It kind of depends on the people that you associate with, and like you were saying, the younger people, many times don't quite understand what somebody else might be talking about, different things, and the meaning behind it. But I think the people here, because you've got, well, I know this year Bethalto's not going to have their parade, but so we do have the parades. We do have those, and we do remember the occasion. And the parade route in Alton is always packed. And so it shows a turnout. I know people love a parade, but they also know the reason behind it.
Exactly.
And then, of course, that's twofold, because we're honoring those who have paid the ultimate price. At the same time, it is the longest continuously running parade in the Memorial Day Parade in the nation, and which is an honor in and of itself, which speaks volumes about the caliber of the people here in the area.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask you about, working with VFW Post 1308 on a day like Memorial Day. And I keep telling folks, they don't realize how much you guys really do to contribute, the Post, and you guys in particular, and the Post as a whole, to community outreach, community support with local organizations. And on a day, like this, it's all hands on deck, correct?
Yes.
And with that being said, what are some of the highlights of VFW, with what their contributions are, not just specifically for Memorial Day, but just some of your, one of those, kind of milestones or one of those.
Well, of course, we do both the Memorial Day and the Halloween Parade, and then we do funerals, and we'll do flag presentations at schools and churches or community centers or whatever they want. Somebody will go out and maybe talk about the flag or about a specific event or something if they want that. We've also got the food pantry out there for veterans and their families here at our post. We have the VOD program, which is national VFW-wide, which leads to a scholarship. And then at our post, we also have one of the things I'm very proud of that helped Wayne Abel set up was a CID program.
Perfect segue, because I want to tell everybody at home, I saw a picture on Facebook with a very dapper-looking Wayne Abel and Bill Perkins over at, it was at the post office, correct?
Before I retired.
And now, I didn't realize you and Wayne worked together at the post office, which is fascinating, but take us through this. Now, this is, to me, one of the most remarkable things that I've heard that you guys have done. I mean, to me, when you started telling me this before we hit record, I got a little bit of my hair standing up on my arms here. Take us through this.
Well, the idea is Wayne Abel's. I mean, Wayne comes up with a lot of ideas. I always say I'm his Barney Fife, because he'll come up with an idea and he'll say, "What do you think?" And then we'll bounce it back and forth and this is one of the best ones we have. And it's called The Courage, Inspiration, Determination. And he come up with the idea. Some years back, there was this boy, Cody Green, that had terminal cancer, and he wanted to be a Marine. And this Staff Sergeant Dolfini heard about it and went to visit him, talked with him, and as his health deteriorated, he kind of made him an honorary Marine. And then when it got down to the last hours, Sergeant Dolfini showed up in full dress blues and stood guard outside the door until he'd passed, and it made a lot of papers, especially the military ones and so forth. Wayne saw that, and he knew there was something in this more, because we all saw it. Everybody moved by it, but Wayne saw something more, and he prayed about it, and he come up with this idea, and he, "What do you think?" And so we went with it, and what we do is We have a regulation medal, size medal made here down in Wood River, and we've got certificates. And we'll get in full in our dress blue, in our VFW uniforms.
Okay.
And we'll present this either at hospitals or where there's a spinal bifida support group that we went and presented at. We actually had a kids meeting at the VFW where we presented it to all of them. And we do it just as if you were getting an award in the military. The certificate reads the same way. You got somebody reading it. They pin it on them. We salute them. They get the certificate in a folder. It also comes with a junior comrade card for post 1308. So the day we had that meeting at the VFW, the first order of business was we had to vote. They had to vote to see, does mom and dad get to stay in here for the meeting?
How'd they vote?
They voted to let them stay.
Oh, wow. Very caring children, it seems like.
Yeah. But we've gone to the Shriners Hospital a couple of times, Children's Hospital, Cardinal Glennon. And I remember the first one we went to this one room. And we had to mask up, suit up, everything. And I don't think the boy was more than 8 or 9 years old. Had this scar, must have been open heart. I mean, from the throat down. And we were reading the certificate, and he sat up in the bed, and we finished everything, and we gave a salute, and we left the room. And his dad came out in tears. He said that was the first time he'd sat up since surgery. I was like, whoa.
How do you even react to something like that? To me, you're going to get me in. To me, that just and that's what I think, Bill, to have something like this to work, because we know, we talk time and time again about, veterans and things, but we don't really talk about exactly what you guys do to not only just, provide so much support to the community, but carry the values that the military taught you all.
Exactly. And, another problem we have, both the VFW, the American Legion, is, that's just a bar for veterans.
Exactly.
And no, yes, there's a bar there, but there's more to it than that, because, the new GI Bill program our troops have today.
Oh yeah,
was the biggest pushers of that was the VFW and the American Legion and DAV and AMBETS. These veterans organizations were the loudest voices in Congress to get this pushed through. When they start talking about closing military bases, we're the first ones yelling about and reminding them. And so, whether you ever come to a meeting or not, being a member, that number counts when that national commander goes to talk to whoever, because there's 1 million members, there's 2 million votes.
You're right. Well, and too, we've talked to Angie time and time again about joining the auxiliary and being a part of it. There's so many things, and that's why we do this segment called Salute to Service, because so many times, and it just amazes me, the VFW is not open to the public, they're open for the public, and that's what we talk about time and time again. And Bill, what's your big takeaway on a day like today when you guys are at the post doing, pulling out all the stops and remembering the fallen in the best way possible, in my opinion?
Well, that's kind of a difficult one, because one of the things I noticed with VFW is that there's this unspoken commonality between every veteran. And like I said, when I first got active, you had a lot of World War II guys. And it didn't matter. We all had that same thread, and it was an understanding without anything ever being said. And we know it's Memorial Day, and we have our memories, the good ones and the others, and we understand one to another, and usually you'll hear a funny story, and that's usually the way, it's something that we'll relate one to another or something. But we all think about the ones that we remember that never had a homecoming.
Absolutely. And Bill, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show today and talking about this, because, I don't think this could probably sometimes be very easy to do when you're talking about such a serious and somber occasion like Memorial Day, but to have some insights and learn more about what you've done in the past and what the VFW continues to do with your support and so many others, it's really amazing to know that we have such a great organization for our veterans, but also for our community as well.
But I'd also just like to add, regardless of if it's Memorial Day or, well, of course, like I said, don't say Happy Memorial Day. But whenever talking to a veteran, don't ask them where, what was your MOS or what was your job? That's an okay thing to ask.
Okay.
But if they mention somebody, I was over in, well, what did you do over it? Don't.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Just, you were in, if you were in the Navy, what was your rating? or you're in the Marine Corps, or the Army. Okay, your MOS. Your job and stuff. Those are things that are okay to ask. Or where were you stationed? But beyond that, hi, welcome home. Have a seat. Glad you could join us. If we're going to talk, we'll talk when we want to talk.
Absolutely.
About what we want to talk about.
Absolutely.
And just treat us like you would anybody else.
Absolutely. And Bill, thank you so much for stopping by today. And, as you guys know, I told you guys promoted this already that we would be taping throughout the week because Bill and the VFW are very busy on Monday. And to have you ahead of time to really reflect on this early and just kind of raise awareness to what you guys do is really incredible. So thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll take a quick break here. Salute to service on this Memorial Day Monday.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
RiverBender Radio has built 3 great new stations just for you in the Riverbend. The Eagle, the Riverbend's classic rock station. The Bridge, hit music for the Riverbend. And The River, today's country, and all your favorites. Check them out today at RiverBender.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ. Memorial Day Monday, and the last interview belongs to Hainer Library. Mary Cordes, Beyond the Shelves. How are we?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Are you in town today?
I am in town today, actually. I am.
So, it's funny. I told the audience last week, I'm like, well, brand new shows, I just won't be here for them.
Right.
So we're working hard now. But there's still a lot of stuff happening at Hainer
There's.
Library. Before we do the deep dive, how did all the other events go? Thomas Jefferson, great. All the...
It did. It went really well. We had a really nice turnout. We had the official Thomas Jefferson of Colonial Williamsburg at the Genealogy and Local History Library last week. It went really, really well. We had a full house. We actually had one of our board members, Carrie Miller. He came as Rufus Easton and did the introduction for Thomas Jefferson, so the founder of Alton, and it was just a really nice time for everybody.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And today, obviously, the staff off and everybody's off at the library. But, going forward, really Memorial Day is, of course, the holiday to really reflect on all the sacrifices, but also for just the general public, that's the turning page to start preparing for summer events and get things prepared.
It is, yeah, for us too. We kind of use it as school's been out by this point for week and a half, and we're kind of wrapping up our normal activities and gearing up for summer reading program. And Memorial Day kind of is that point of no return. It's like we've either got it planned or we don't. So and we do, we always do. So yeah, we'll be starting our summer reading program on Monday, June 3rd, and that's for kids and teens.
Well, that's really cool. And now this is a big shabuzi. We already talked about summer reading program last time, but is there still time to register or be a part of it?
Yeah, for sure. And so the kickoff starts Monday, June 3rd, but you can sign your kids up anytime during the summer until, obviously the program ends. The last day to turn in reading sheets is July 17th. So it's a 6-week program, but anytime during that 6 weeks, you can register your children, or if you're a teen, you can register, and we register using the Beanstack app. So it's easy to do, and yeah, you can join anytime.
Now, just a quick question: are there any books that aren't on the summer reading list, or are they all picked from the staff? Because I can't remember the last time we talked how it worked.
So it's actually the kids can read anything they want.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the kids, you choose whatever you want to read. So and everything counts. So if you listen to an audiobook, it counts. If you read a magazine, it counts. As, for the teens. If you read a book, it counts. And so just everything you read. The whole point is just to during the summer to keep that reading momentum going, because you don't want the summer slide to hit. Yeah.
Really cool. So summer reading programs kick off June the 3rd. Is there any other events before that, though, that we need to talk about?
So, yeah. we have our X's and So's craft program.
That's getting really big.
It's fun, and people seem to like it. It's June 4th and June 18th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the mall. And this is just, if you are a crafter, if you have a portable craft or a portable art project that you're working on, you can bring it to the library during that time. Set up in our multi-purpose room, which we have a lot of tables, a lot of chairs. You can even set it up on the floor if you just need a big area to work with, or if you want to just talk with other people who might be interested in the same kind of craft or art as you are. You can use that time to talk. We also have refreshments. We've got hot tea, coffee, and we've got Creative Bug, which is one of the databases that we have, and so we can put that on if you've got a question about the project you're working on. Pretty sure there will be an HD quality video that we can pull on and as a tutorial to help you. So yeah, we've got that going on. And then we have a writer's circle, which the focus in June, Saturday, June 29th from 10 to 12 at the multi-purpose room at Alton Square. That is focusing on short stories. So we've got a short story program going on. And then our last one that we've got going on is our summer picnic memory cafe. So this will be the third one that we've done.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have gone to these and really gotten a lot out of it, too.
Yep. So we have... this is for people who are suffering with Alzheimer's or dementia and their family members. And so what we do is we open it up. It's open house style, and it's going to be Saturday, June 15th from 10 to 12 at the Alton Square Mall in the multipurpose room. And we have hands-on activities for people who are suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's. And we also, the point of those activities is to sort of spark conversation and reminiscence, and they're all themed. And then we have a representative from the Alzheimer's Association who will be there to talk with family members. And it's also a way to just form a support group with the family members with each other. Because
there is nothing more difficult.
It's horrible. I couldn't imagine it. It's stressful for everybody involved. So,
and too, to have a support group like that, because I'm sure there's times, and I've never had, someone close to me with Alzheimer's or dementia, but it's probably very hard to talk with somebody that doesn't have that experience because they don't know how to talk to you back about what you're going through.
Yeah, if you've never gone through it, you don't understand it, and we've gone through it with a family member before, and it just takes over every moment of your life. And so it's nice to be able to have a place for people to come, not only to work with each other or to talk with each other for support, but also something for the patient who's suffering from it.
Yeah.
To have an activity and have it focused on them, and something for everybody to do together.
Right on. 100%.
Yeah. So that's what's going on.
How did Jacoby Arts Center turn out?
It went really well. So we had our very first program there. Mark Dvorak, he came. We had a full crowd, and people enjoyed it. Mark, he's played for us several times before, and this was honestly his best performance yet. And we can't wait to have him back. And having it at Jacoby was so nice.
Yeah.
It was really great. People loved it. Patrons really, really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, to me, I just thought it was a no-brainer decision.
It's a great partnership. It was nice because, Jacoby was able to help us publicize the event, so it got it out to a wider crowd than just people who normally come to our programs. So we had people there who had never been to one of our programs before, which was great. It was really wonderful. And then our patrons that were there were able to walk around Jacoby. Several of them said they'd never been there before. So it was really great. They got to see the facility. They got to see the local art. There was still local art up by the kids from the local schools. And so we just exposed their audience to us and our audience to them. It was wonderful.
And they had the MILF exhibit up.
The
Man, I Love Film.
Oh,
Did you see that one?
No.
Yeah, there is a new one. Yeah, so I just talked to these students, and I had the best time at Lewis and Clark. It was all about, like the old school photography with the black and whites and the development. And that's down there, too. It's called Man, I Love Film, but they, of course, abbreviated it to
when you
have
said
some
that,
fun.
I was like,
oh, yeah, no, you should have seen my text line. They thought I was Charlie Sheen Jr. when I did that interview.
It's like, that did not ring a bell.
Oh, my goodness. But so before we go into the deep dive here of all the other events, there's something I saw. And, I mean, you guys have the library of things where you can check out literally anything and everything you
If you
want.
can think of it, we can get it in our library of things for you.
But I saw this post about a seed library. And now how do I return the seeds?
Well, the good thing is you don't have to. Well, I guess you could technically return
the next
them
year for the
next
harvest.
year. Yes. So
that would be a cool program.
And that's what we would love. That's kind of the whole point of the seed library. So we kept hearing from our patrons that they really wanted a seed library. And so we thought, well, okay, if that's what people want, then we'll give the people what they want.
Do it.
So we did it. And so we had a committee of staff members who came together, and it was really fun. It was a really nice, creative way for us to come together. And it was from every department in the library, which was really also a lot of fun, because sometimes you have a tendency just to work with the people in your department. So it was nice to get everybody together. And we implemented the seed library. So you can go to any Hainer library location, all 3 locations. You can pick up seeds. They're in little packets. We have flowers, fruits, vegetables, and herbs. And you can pick up your seeds. All the information is on the packet. So if you've never grown a thing in your life, you've got the information right there. If you're a master gardener, then you already know what to do.
You got any honeysuckle in there?
No, because it's invasive. You don't want honeysuckle. No.
I was going to put a honeysuckle garden.
We spend so much of our time
Isn't that
pulling
the
that
worst
stuff
stuff ever
awful.
made?
It's awful.
What is there, though? What's going to be on display?
We have, in the flower category, we have asters, cornflowers, marigolds, sunflowers, and zinnias. In fruits and vegetables, we have acorn squash, butternut squash, cantaloupe, cucumber, pumpkin, and zucchini. And kind of a fun fact, Illinois is the biggest producer of pumpkins in the world.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So we have pumpkins and zucchini. And then in the herb category, we have basil, dill, oregano, parsley, and sage. And so these are just the seeds that the library has put out, because we had to start somewhere. So we put those out, but we're encouraging people. What we want this is to be a self-sustaining project with the public. So we're encouraging people to also bring their seeds in, and you can bring them in. You can bring in commercial seed, or you can bring in your seed from your house, and all we ask is that it's ready to be packaged up. We'll package it up for you. We've got all the supplies. All you have to do is bring it in, fill out a little piece of paper that tells us what it is and your name, and then we will package it up, put it out for people, and it's just basically a seed swap. Bring your seeds in, take some seeds, or just bring in some seeds. So
now, how many come in a little packet?
So we tried to put about a teaspoon in, not quite a teaspoon in each, and so it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's probably anywhere between 10 and 15 seeds
so so
beach.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, because too, I mean, for especially young to me, because I always look in the because I'm a young person that owns a house for the first time. When you go to the box stores, it's always hard to get those starter packs because it's like, do you really know what happened to get them there? Are they actually going to take, you know? And so you're spending all this money because you're mulching or because you're aerating your ground and you're getting all the soil ready. And then your seeds never take off.
Yeah, exactly.
So to do this way with your library card, and then if you have a successful season, bring your seeds back in that you had from the first harvest.
Well, and also what we're hoping is that people will bring in their seeds that are, you know, not to steal the phrase, but proven winners. You know, like, yes, I've had these in my garden for the last 3 years. They've done really well for me, so I want to share them with other people. So yeah, it's a great way. Like I said, it's also a great way to, if you've never gardened before,
100%.
You know, okay, let's try it. You're not out any money. You just come in and you can pick. Each patron can have up to 6 seed packets. So. At a time.
I love the proven experience though with it because it's like whenever you're starting, you can Google anything you want and you can start, you know, best plants for beginners. But this is a good way to know these are things that are currently growing in community gardens all across the area.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. And when you check it out, or not check it out, but when you come into the library to pick them up, we have growing guides for you on each envelope that tells you exactly how to sow the seed. We also have a key there to tell you whether it's organic or heirloom. And then the kind of what the difference is in that. And then we also obviously have gardening books. So if you've never gardened before, it's a great place. Pick up your seeds, walk back. We'll show you where the gardening collection is. You can check out books on gardening, and then you can also check out a gardening kit, which we have in our library of things. So yeah, we've got it all.
Yep, that's what you call a perfect equation. Yes. Now, Mary Cordes, going forward, how is it going to be open all summer long? Are you going to do like seasonal items in the fall? You know,
we're
any of
going to
that?
try. So we started out with things that you could sow now, so that you know, either you'll like the flowers you'll have now, or the pumpkins will be ready to harvest, obviously in October. But yeah, we're going to have it open all year round. So you know, we'll take seeds and hopefully then, like in the winter, we'll get the seeds that you can plant for spring for lettuces and that kind of thing. So we'll keep adding to it ourselves, but we're really relying on patrons too to help us with this. So.
Well, absolutely. I just think this is cool as heck. I mean,
really
this is awesome. And so for more information, HanerLibrary.org. But as we get back to Memorial Day Monday too, and we can keep tackling stuff here in a second. Does the library have, you know, some pretty good books about maybe some of the Memorial, some of the reasons why we don't celebrate Memorial Day, but why we remember?
We do. We have a really great history section. We also have a really great local history collection of people who have served in the military locally. I'm thinking of Mr. Killiam. We have his book in our collection. So we have a local history collection, and we also have our general history collection as well.
Quick plug for me. We're going to be talking about James Killian Day with the First Lady next week when I come back into town. So just so you guys know, we're going to be talking about that, which James Killian's Day will be coming up very shortly.
Yeah, and we have that book in our collection.
Do you really?
We do. In fact, I was just at a meeting, in the North Alton Godfrey Business Council meeting, and we were talking about that book, and somebody said, well, can I check it out? And I said, yeah. So while I was at the meeting, I was at the meeting, I called the library and I said, can you pull this for this patron? And we pulled it, and they stopped after the meeting and picked it up.
That was an interesting meeting.
It was a really interesting meeting, and that was the memorial for the
National Memorial of Ascent.
Yeah, it was very interesting, and we talked about code talkers, Native American code talkers, and so just check your newsletter. That's all I'm going to say. Just check your newsletter when it comes out this summer.
I'm excited
because we might have a program going on with that. Just saying.
That's so cool.
So yeah, we'll have the details out in the next newsletter.
And I wanted to kind of touch on that because with it being Memorial Day, there's a lot of cool things coming. But I've started to notice just by talking with you and Bob Ryan and all these wonderful folks that the Riverbend area, and not necessarily Alton, Godfrey, Edwardsville, but our entire region has an influx of really incredible veterans that have just the most amazing stories.
We do. We really do. And, and it's funny, I don't know if you used to go to the... or if you still go to the Alton Muni Band concerts. But
every once in a while.
Growing up, we went to all of them, and I still go to them. And every year, at the patriotic concert, they play all of the songs from each branch of the military. And growing up, they would play the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard, and they would stand, the Air Force, and they would stand up. And every year, it just seems like there's fewer and fewer guys. And it's a reminder, that generation, World War II generation, is almost gone. And you're just so grateful for everything that they did, and you're also grateful for the service of everybody that came after them. And it's really amazing how many people in our area have served.
100%.
Yeah,
I went to the I went to the Muni Band last year when Heidi was doing the children's story.
Okay.
Yep,
Yes.
because I did the interview with her. That was cool. Well, also I wanted to fill you in because I have you here anyway. It's Memorial Day. We're gonna be. We just played our conversation, our replay with Ann Montgomery. She was one of the first sportscasters for ESPN way back in the day.
Oh, sure.
But she's an author, and she wrote a book called Your Forgotten Sons that is coming out June 6th. It's about the Graves Registration Unit, where they would go in and identify and bury during World War II, and to hear about Normandy and how they had to get 3,000 plus out of the way because they have. I mean, it's just, to me, like you said, the greatest generation, and just seeing that year over year and knowing that it's eventually.
For sure. I mean, my grandfather was one of them. He served in World War II. My other grandfather served in Korea, and so it's just, it's a very, for me, it's very personal, and I'm so grateful that we have these stories. Then we're able to get them down, able to get them in our local history collection because they need to be told now. Because people are they're just going away at such an incredible rate.
It's really, and I don't know if this is true. It's just my perception. It seems like we're starting to remember events more than the people that made the event.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's just me because it's like, man, I get that these events happen, but let's talk about the people that were out there fighting, and not even just military, but anything.
Sure.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
person.
the women that worked in the home front and what they packing parachutes and ammunition and keeping gardening. The victory gardens and all of those
I'll take you a step further, knowing that their freedom was going to go away when their men came back into town too.
Exactly.
And that's it sucks to say it that way, but they knew that this was only short-lived.
Exactly.
I mean, just incredible. And that's why, today it's always a great day to remember. And we had our segment, but I think it's great to point out that local history section for folks to learn about James Killian and the work that he did. And are there any other books about some local veterans?
We do. We've got several. That's the one that springs to mind.
100%.
And we didn't talk about this ahead of time, or I would have brought some titles.
Sorry,
but that's totally fine. But we do have them, and so if you stop into our genealogy and local history library, we can help you find that. We can also, one of the great things to do that we have in our collection is the digitized newspapers. And so if you enjoy history, one of the really fun things to do is to go back and look at these significant dates like D-Day or Pearl Harbor Day or things like that, and just go back and look at the news coverage, look at the newspapers from those dates, and just read the headlines and the stories and all the news that comes after that. It's a really interesting way to revisit history.
Newspapers were a lot more blunt back in the day.
Oh, they were. They really were. Oh, they had to be. I mean, they had the economy of space, and there were so many people that were going off and so much news coming. And you think about how slow the news traveled back then, and so you had to cram a lot into one space.
I was just thinking about that because I just thought about, could you imagine you're in the 1800s or whatever, not even talking 1900s, you're just in the 1800s or even 1900, I guess, in World War I, you're on a boat. Okay, and you're going over, and maybe it's you think the war's going on. By the time you get there, the war's over because you just sailed on a ship for 3 months, and no one. It's amazing the things that we take for granted in our generation.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, just amazing.
Well, just when you go back and you read the newspaper articles about these poor families were told that their sons were missing in action. They didn't know missing in action. It took so long for the news to get back. That person could have been found. They could have been killed. They could have been a POW. Because news wasn't instantaneous, and so it's really interesting to go back and look at those newspaper accounts and see what's in there, and we have it all at the library.
Yes, you do, and it's a great. It would be great too if maybe someone wanted to know more about a soldier they lost overseas.
Yeah. Well, we have the military records too, so we have Fold 3, which is all military database for genealogy. And we also have Ancestry Library Edition. And so one of the things that the National Archive is working on is digitizing draft cards from World War II. And so all of that information is available through that they've gotten through. We can find online, and we can get all of that at the Genealogy and Local History Library. So there's a lot of information that's becoming available.
That's really cool. Okay, I'm starting to sweat a little bit, so we got to keep moving. Okay, it's getting humid. I don't know. It just out of nowhere, a thunderstorm just kind of took over. But if you're just tuning in, is it the Seed Swap?
Seed Library.
Seed Library.
Yep.
Seed Library.
Seed Library.
This is cool. So if you guys are interested and you want to really start growing native or growing what folks around here locally are doing, this is a great opportunity. Real quick, can you fill us in again on what's a part of the library?
Sure. So we have flower seeds, fruit and vegetable seeds, herb seeds, and that includes asters. I'm just going to read this fast. Asters, cornflowers, marigolds, sunflowers, zinnias, acorn squash, butternut squash, cantaloupe, cucumber, pumpkin, zucchini, basil, dill, oregano, parsley, and sage. It's a lot.
I had to take a breath for Mary.
Yeah.
No, but I just, to me, I don't think, I hope your staff and you realize that it's so cool that because libraries are getting advanced, and we're starting to see a lot of folks do more, but you guys really do it because of things that interest you. And I think it's really cool to see the personalities of the folks at Hainer that make Hainer what it is show through in these programs.
Yeah, and that's what the staff is really good with. The staff really enjoys the patrons that come in, and you can tell that because we've had these relationships with some people for 30 years, 40 years, and even our new staff members, it's like, oh, this is Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, and we form these relationships with people, and we listen to what they want. Or even if somebody just comes in once and they come in and they ask for something, if we don't have it, the staff is very good at reporting that back to me and saying, hey, somebody asked for this and we didn't have it. Do you think we could add it to the collection? Or, hey, it might be a service we want to think about. And if we see multiple people coming in and wanting something, then we're responsive to it. And so that's all down to the staff listening to what people want and then jumping in there and making it happen. So,
cool. Well, and kudos to your newer staff too, because it could be easy to kind of go, no, we're just going to work, but they kept the message the same, and that's why Hainer keeps growing and growing.
Yeah, there were several new staff members that worked on this. I say new, they're not relatively new, that worked on the seed library, and they just jumped in and said, we want to do this, and there's more coming down the pike that we're working on. So.
Oh, hey, obituary class.
Yes. It's full.
Oh, God dang it!
but I have good news. Because it's full and it really was popular, I think we might be looking at later on in the year having more of the same type of program, because there was a real response to it.
I bet there was. I mean, to me, Mary, I was thinking, I should write one every 5 years, because you never know what happens tomorrow.
You never know.
And I'm not asking for much. Just shut down the city for a day and let's have a parade. I mean, I'm not asking for too much. Just what do they call that? A state funeral?
That's all you need. That's all you need.
I just, from you to all the way down to the staff and volunteers. Friends of the library, Friends of Hainer. Is their building getting anywhere?
The building, we're working on it. There is some work that needs to be done to that building, and it's slow going because it's detailed work that we need to do. And so I know it's slow, and I know people miss it. We miss having it too, and we miss having our friends in the building and working. So we're working on that to get that going. In the meantime, though, we do have book sale carts at Alton Square Mall. So if you are looking for something to buy, you can stop by the mall library. Everything on the cart is $2 or less. So it's a good deal, and it's being stocked by the friends, and they are being very patient, and we are very appreciative of it. But we're working on it.
That's really cool. Well, Mary, this is actually, I think, a milestone. You know why?
Why is that?
This is the first time that we've met where one of us has not been completely shell-shocked by allergies or sickness.
That is true.
Isn't that so true? You guys don't know this. Every time for the last 4 months, one of us has been completely under the weather.
I know, and we have powered through. There was one time where I thought we have to wrap this up, because I think I'm going to start coughing, and I think we just ended, and I had to bolt. Yep.
But we're in lighter spirits now, and we'll see you back here for Beyond the Shelves on the first Monday of the month, which happens to be beep, boop, 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 beep, in 2 weeks. So we'll see you then.
All right.
Mary, always good speaking with you.
Thank you,
and have
you too.
a good rest of your Memorial Day.
Thank you, you too.
Take a quick break. Oh, wait, no. I can't take a quick break. We're out of time. Sorry, I'm taping. This is my first tape show of the time I'm out of here. We're out of time. So with that being said, enjoy your families on this Memorial Day. I'll see you back here live tomorrow for more of our daily show on a Tuesday. Until then, just try your best to, as always, stay out of jail.
He once knew, oh yes he did. He said it would.